Thank you so much for volunteering to be a part of our Sunday morning service. Your participation makes our church so much better, and we value that. And I just want to talk to you about the next steps that we take to being excellent at what we do. Because in Colossians chapter 3 verse 17 it says, "And whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through Him." And that's what we want to do, is do our very, very best for God. And so today we're just going to talk about the philosophy, about why we're doing what we're doing, and some great tips to help us be the best at what we can be as we stand before the church. So the first thing I want you to know is it's very, very important for you to be prepared. And so what I mean by being prepared is to plan ahead and to know your part and to know what's coming up next. Every week, if you're involved in the Sunday morning service, Tuan will send you a copy of the timesheet via email. Always print that out, or at least take a look at it before you show up to church, so that you know what your part is and you already have planned what you're going to say. It's okay to be extemporaneous, but it's much, much better to know what your part is and to have already planned that. And if God gives you something else to say, then to use what God gives you. That's why the worship team always practices at least 2 times before they get to Sunday morning, because they want to be their very best at leading us in worship. It's the same when we serve as doing a speaking part in the life of our church as well. So Tuan is going to create a calendar a month in advance, and when he emails that to you, I want you to take a look at the calendar to see if you're available during those times, and if you are, send him a note back to say yes I am, or if you're not available, to let him know when you're not available. And if ever you are unavailable when you have been scheduled, it's okay. We understand that schedules change. You just got to let us know so that we can plan to have someone else take your place. And one more thing about being prepared in the service, and that is so important to me, and that is know when your time is coming up. And I want you to move to the front row before you even go on, so that when you're up next, all you have to do is stand up and grab the microphone to do your part. What we don't want for you to do is go from where you're seated, and then you're up next and everyone has to wait for you to walk up to the very front and then you go, because some precious time is wasted, and that time is always kind of awkward. So I'm going to talk to you next about how we plan and prepare for our specific parts. For the greeting time, here's the thing that we want you to know. It's a really important part in our service, but that's not why people come to church, to learn a different language. It's a quirk that we have, which we think is really cool about the Bridge Church. So we don't want to spend a lot of time giving facts and stuff like that. Well, that's cool. If you want to do that, we welcome you to do it, but we don't want to take a lot of time. So be concise about it, and then teach people how to do it. Make sure they repeat after you. Make sure they're standing, and at the end of it, make sure you let them know that there's 3 minutes and 16 seconds that they have to greet one another, and this gives people a chance to go to Sunday school or go to rally, and us to reorganize and get ourselves ready to listen to the sermon. But remember, it's a fun thing that we do, but we don't want to take a lot of time doing it. Here's an example of how to do it well. Hello, Bridge Church. I'd like to take this time to teach you how to say hello in Russian. Many of you don't know this, but I am an expert in saying hello in Russian. And the way you do that is you say "Здравствуйте." All right? Would you repeat after me? Ready? Здравствуйте. Right, one more time. Здравствуйте. Ah, that's great. Stand up. In a moment, I'm going to have you turn to one another and greet one another in Russian. But when we do, children, you can go to Sunday school, and you'll have 3 minutes and 16 seconds to greet one another in Russian by saying Здравствуйте. All right, go ahead and greet one another.